Hello my friends, Ukrainian army continued to repel the Russian attacks on Stepove successfully. Recently we pushed them out from the village itself in this direction, and also Ukraine uses lots of the artillery shells, drones, infantry and aviation to target the Russian positions even behind the railroad. Nevertheless, Russia concentrates resources to conduct more and more mid-waves in attempt to get more ground from Ukraine. But those attack attempts are unsuccessful for the Russian Federation, and I don't see the huge jump, the third wave, the big massive attack which they might perform to encircle Avdiivka. They change the tactics and use much less forces. But they're very consistent with their attacks. They continue to lose the forces, but they send them again and again. But Ukraine also has the constant counterattack. I would say it's the hottest place now from all of the front lines, straightforward fight between two of the groups. Hopefully Ukraine achieves the victory in this place. Russia has the intermediate bridgehead somewhere in this place where they concentrate the forces to conduct more attacks. So our guys need to eliminate those positions. The biggest bridgehead is in Krasnogorivka, somewhere here on the top. From that place they send the forces to the different sides of the front lines. Wow, that is crazy what is happening near to Stepove. Those are the Russian armored vehicles. They're suffering a lot under Ukrainian fire. Due to the specific of this content, I'm unable to publish the full video, so just a screenshot for you. But I must say that many of the Russian soldiers will not make it till the new year with their attack attempts in Avdiivka. Oh yes, the new year and Christmas is very soon. That is why we have the special offer from the partner and the sponsor of my channel, the Atlas VPN. They came out with a Christmas deal that was especially designed for my followers, where you may get the Atlas VPN Premium for just $149 per month, plus you will have 12 months extra. Astonishing deal, the lowest price possible for this premium VPN product. It has military encryption standards, strongly securing your data and your devices from being reached by government, unwanted ads and also hackers. I use the VPN all of the time, and for me personally, Atlas VPN is the best VPN out there. It has a security breach device monitoring feature, so it alerts me that someone tries to reach my device. Then I use the public Wi-Fi. Then I see that message, I disconnect from that public Wi-Fi. Atlas VPN is very fast. It guarantees you the best streaming connection, then you watch movies on Netflix. And also by changing your virtual location, you may get access to watch all of the movies, all of the series on Netflix platform. And now my friends, please check out my personal link in the video description just below, or scan the QR code available on the screen, where you may get the Atlas VPN Premium with a Christmas discount, just $149 per month, and you'll have 12 months extra too. Astonishing deal, especially made for my followers, and also it is time limited, so hurry up to join the club. Remember yesterday I showed you this video of the big kaboom of the Russian T-72B3 tank. It was targeted by the FPV drone, the ammunition exploded and nothing left from the tank. Well, there was the other vehicle behind this tank, and Russians filmed what is left from the tank. So here's the video. Well, actually nothing left from the tank, just a small debris. Crew evaporized because there is the huge pressure and temperature inside, so I bet they find some of the remains of the crew, the crater on the road, so definitely the huge explosion. All the shells exploded at the same time, leaving no trace that it was even the tank, just the scrap metal and everything turned apart. It's crazy. The only way to understand that it was definitely the tank is the caterpillar and the engine that was lying around 100 meters away from the place. So for sure crew didn't even understand of what happened to them. Well, every one of them except this guy who was on the top of the turret, and the drone went here between the turret and the tank's base. Inside there are the shells all around the turret together with the crew, so basically it is the most vulnerable spot to kaboom the tank immediately. But the biggest achievement for Ukrainian army is the destruction of the Vitis air defense systems. This is the S-350, capable to carry 24 missiles. Well, each launching truck is capable to carry 12 of the missiles, but the system consists at least of 2 of the trucks and 1 radar. So here's the composition of the system. It is a very modern Russian system, modernized version of the S-300, but with a new radar, and basically it's much more capable compared to the standard S-300. Those systems are very expensive. They may cost more than $200 million each. Well, it's definitely hard to find the exact figure because Russia classified that information, but at least not less than 200 million for sure. So the Ukrainian drone army was able to find and target 2 of the launching units of that particular S-350 system. It's the tremendous achievement for the Ukrainian drone forces. So one system was targeted, but there was the other one nearby. Yes, the quality of the video is not really nice. The drone was flying around the previous system and capable to find one more. This is one more unit of S-350. Tremendous achievement for Ukrainian army. Awesome. Yes, Russian media as usual says that there are no any analogs of the system, but you can handle it with the help of the drones. It means that Russia struggles with Ukrainian aviation and JDAMs that Ukrainian army continue to use on the Russian positions. Right, from Donbass, let's go to the north where there's the fight against the Russian attacks. Today, Ukraine effectively repelled the Russian attack once again, gaining the lost ground for the second time. So it was yesterday and it is today. Quite a good achievement, but before it was kind of the same picture, I think the last week. So Russians took the territory, Ukraine repelled them. After it, Russians advanced a little, and today Ukraine finally pushed them once again. As you see, the front lines are boiling at many of the points, but there is no significant movement of the front line itself. Alright, this is the meme page with Ilya Kiva, the death of the year by Time. So this guy was assassinated today in one of the richest places near to Moscow, in the country club. He is actually Ukrainian. He used to be the member of parliament of Ukraine. Before, he was one of the chiefs of Ukrainian police. So just before the war, he left Ukraine for Moscow and was following the Russian propaganda. He wanted to cancel Ukraine. He wants the Western Ukraine to join Poland and the main part to join Russia. So the guy was absolutely crazy with his narratives against Ukraine, and today he was assassinated. Ukraine took responsibility for that, the SBU forces, the internal security forces. Just for you to understand who this guy was, this is his last post dated from the yesterday's morning. Here you can see the toy of Zelensky holding the flag of Azov and the flag of Ukraine. Zelensky doesn't believe in guarantees of his own personal security given by Washington, but the evacuation plan for him personally was already developed. Zelensky worries that after Trump wins the elections in the United States of America, he will be handled to Moscow or will be just eliminated. And the same day, Ilya Kiva was eliminated himself. Coincidence? Could be. It was confirmed by the Russian side that this guy was shot. And this is the last post of the Russian Defense Ministry. Coincidence? Again. The last day was the day of the Ukrainian armed forces. Guys do a fantastic job protecting our country against invaders who want to eliminate everything Ukrainian, and not just that. They want to get rid of democracy. They want to get rid of human freedoms. They want dictatorship to prevail everywhere. The Ukrainian armed forces are fighting not just for Ukraine. They fight for Europe. They fight for democratic world wherever it is. Our enemy has much more resources. It's much bigger country. Nevertheless, miraculously, with the courage of our defenders, Ukraine was able to make impossible to defend its territory against the huge Russian army. Russians thought that they might take the capital city of Kiev and the vast part of Ukraine in just a few of the days, but now they're struggling taking some of the streets in some of the villages. Ukraine already showed that it will never surrender. But again, Ukraine has the issue with the military support of its armed forces with the help from our allies. We're speaking about the United States of America. So White House administration asked Senate to approve the deal. However, today, as I promised to you, it was cancelled. As Biden said today, the small group of Republicans are keeping Ukraine as the hostage. At the same time, Democrats do not agree with immigrational or border control demands of this group. So there's the big confrontation, and definitely Ukraine is the hostage in this internal political challenge which is ongoing in the Senate of the United States. Nevertheless, I'm sure that it is temporary. I'm sure that Ukraine will obtain the military help just a little later. But now obtaining it's crucial for us because Russia continued to push us. And again, Putin sees the confirmation of his policy. His goal is just to wait and see how the Western countries and how our allies are just getting tired of Ukrainian topic. If you compare the last year in Senate and this year, obviously there's the total difference. Last year we had the full support, and today we are struggling getting the help for the Ukrainian army. But again, I'm sure that finally Ukraine will get it. Today, President Biden signed a bill for $175 million support for Ukrainian army. This is the old deal from 2023, and the funds are running out. Probably will receive one more military support this year, and that's it. We need to wait for the budget of 2024. Again, President Biden today said the wise words that I continue to tell you. If we're gonna lose this war in Ukraine, Russia will not stop. It will understand that it might take more ground, more countries. The goal of Russia is to restore the borders of the Soviet Union, of the Soviet Empire, or even the Russian Empire. In that case, the United States of America would have to land their soldiers to fight directly with the Russian army. So it would cost much more for the American budget, plus there is the huge risk of the nuclear war. But it seems like that the politician games for many of the United States politicians are more important compared to the national security. So in one of the last military packages from the United States, we're gonna obtain the HIMARS missiles, artillery shells, and many more important stuff to support Ukrainian army. Mostly spare parts and munition. By the way, today Ukraine used the HIMARS missile to target the Russian helicopter, which landed just in the field. Probably it had some issues, that is why it landed, or maybe it landed with infantry forces. So HIMARS exploded very close to helicopter, causing the dramatic damage to it. It will never fly again. Today is some sort of the liquidation day. The member of parliament of the self-proclaimed Republic LPR was liquidated today in Luhansk with the help of the car explosion. I have no information whether Ukrainian side took responsibility for that. Putin visited the United Arab Emirates today, and he was greeted with this lush ceremony with lots of the Russian flags. The roads were blocked. You may see some of the horses with national flags of the UAE and Russia. And what is there are the airplanes that draw the Russian flag in the skies of Dubai city. Enormous respect that UAE shares towards probably the biggest dictator after the Second World War. For me, honestly, it's not understandable because Putin has the warrant in many of the countries. Yes, UAE is not a part of the Rome Statute, but at the same time sharing this respect to the criminal, it's just crazy. Putin arrived to this palace, and obviously it will encourage him to act as he acts. Oh, what the fuck is that? So definitely something is really wrong with it. Emirates and Saudis are the allies of the United States. It's understandable. However, inside there are the forces that want to be separate from this Western culture and from the trend of globalization. Maybe that is why they want to show that they're kind of different. They share the support towards Russia in this way. Meanwhile, the Nepalese police arrested 10 of the people who were hiring locals to fight for the Russian side in Ukraine. Definitely, there are many of the Nepalese fighting for Russia, at least 100 people. Nepal does not support the war against Ukraine, that's why they're doing something. For example, here are Cubanians and Nepalese in the Russian army already actively fighting. Now they deliver some of the supplies, but later on they're gonna fight on the front lines. The tweet from Julian Röpke, well, I mostly disagree with this guy, but here I agree 100%. The United States Army has more than 6,000 3,000 Abrams tanks, of which more than 2,600 are operational right now. So they have even the capability to restore the rest of the tanks. Still, it only gave 31 Abrams tanks to Ukraine and pledged not a single additional one over the past 10 months. How could Ukraine win a war against Russia with that tiny amount? And here we are not speaking just about the Abrams tanks. Ukraine has now enough resources and hadn't enough resources before starting the big counteroffensive operation this summer. That's why basically it failed, because Russia has defense lines to penetrate those. We need more forces, 3 times more than we had. Yes, there were also the mistakes from the Ukrainian military command down. Luckily, they were fixed at the proper time, but in that case, the counteroffensive basically stalled. The main reason still the lack in resources, the military supplies. The Abrams tanks, Leopards, and many more stuff, including missiles. So it's very important for Ukraine. Compared to the Second World War, then the Soviet Union got like everything from the United States to fight against Germany, at the same time losing lots of the ground, then finally was able to accumulate enough resources, pushing Nazis out from the Soviet Union and many more European countries, only with the help of the United States of America. Here, Ukraine needs the same support, but it seems like the Lend-Lease didn't work at all, and this military support that we have is only enough to secure the current territory with big losses, because obviously you need to compensate the weaponry with soldiers, and that is terrible for Ukraine. As I say to you, our partners, our allies are not obligated to support Ukraine. But you know what happens if we lose. The trend of the Russian fake annexations went to the Latin or the South America. Venezuela announced the annexation of Guyana's territory, the most part of it. The parliament of the country connected this territory to Venezuela, and it became the new state of the country, but just on paper. Probably Venezuelan army is getting ready to physically annex the territory. But Guyana has some of the allies in the region, including Brazil. So that is what happens if you let dictators to stay in power in some of the countries like Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, whatever. There will be always the time for them to go crazy and to annex the nearby countries. That is why we shouldn't allow, for example, Iran to obtain the nuclear missiles or that technology. So it could be one more hotspot on the map of our world. Also, we haven't spoken about the Gaza Strip for a very long time. While Israel started one more attack towards the place, you may see many of the vectors towards Han Yunis city, also in the Gaza Strip. I might say that IDF takes the ground very fast compared to what is happening in Ukraine. So as I told you before, the strategy would be just to split the Gaza Strip in several of the sectors, divide them with attacks, cutting everything from the supplies. The important thing for Israel is to get rid of the underground tunnels. So now Israel uses the water from the Mediterranean Sea to flood the tunnels underground, but it takes time because underground there's more than 400 kilometers of the tunnels. My friends, don't forget to press the like to this video, it helps me a lot. Also, please check out my personal link in the video description just below, where you may find the Atlas VPN with superb Christmas discount. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.